liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I already did that. Let the record show that this meeting has been noticed to the public and news media as required by section 19.84 of the Wisconsin statutes. We'll open the meeting with the elections. I will now open the floor for nominations for the position of chair. A person receiving a majority vote of members entitled to a seat shall be elected to the position. This vote shall take place by a voice vote. If no majority is reached, balloting shall continue, including all nominees until a majority is reached. Once the candidates have been nominated, they will be afforded the opportunity to speak for 3 minutes. At this time, I will open the floor for nominations for the position of chair. Do I have any nominations?
Madam Clerk, I nominate Ron Kingsley as chair.
A second call for nominations for the position of chair. Third and last call for nominations. Hearing none, we will close the nominations and we will cast a unanimous vote for the candidate Ron Kingsley for chair. All in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Congratulations. And we'll move on to the same process for the vice chair. Do I have nominations for the position of vice chair? We have a nomination for Mr. Helwig. Do we have a second nomination for the position of vice chair? Third and last call for nominations for the position of vice chair. Hearing none, we'll close nominations and cast a unanimous vote for Mark Helwig as vice chair. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Congratulations, gentlemen. You can take over the meeting.
Thank you, committee members. It's an honor to serve as the chair of the Public Works Committee. Number 6 is meeting agenda, and the agenda is set. We move on to number 7, which is public comment. Anybody wishing to speak to the committee, please have a paper filled out, and we ask you to stay to about 3 minutes so everybody has a chance to speak. Thank you. First, Ms. Linda Zomer.
Linda Zilmer, resident of the village of Birchwood and a property owner along the Tuscobia Trail, as well as a property owner in Edgewater along County Highway F. And earlier today, I sent members of this committee an email explaining the history of how route openings started here in Sawyer County, first with towns and then with county requests. And it wasn't until last year that the county adopted an ordinance. Just came from a meeting in Washburn County, and the discussion among the county supervisors there is they just can't understand how a county would even consider opening all county highways. They have a public safety focus, and in fact, one of the county supervisors today just talked with one of our state legislators about we need some legislation around how these off-road vehicles are operating on roads. So many people have a public safety concern, and that's long been it. It's not an anti-ATV or anti-UTV user, but it is starting to feel that way. In April, the 2 evening meetings I attended here coming up County Highway F, both evenings I met different UTVs. One had very bright headlights, and the whole center grille was filled with an oval bright light that I was completely blinded, and it was only dusk. And then the next night, there was one with a light bar all the way across the top. And then on Sunday, which was a beautiful day, my backyard looks out across on the Washburn County portion of County Highway Double D, and most of the afternoon and evening was a constant stream of ATVs and UTVs coming from the Sawyer County side of Double D and traveling on to Washburn County's Double D and D, which are not open. So it's hard to listen that there's law-abiding folks and that they follow the rules when almost daily you run into those things. So I think some kind of balance of rights are needed and a review of the ordinance, if you would. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Greg Olson.
Good evening. My name is Greg Olson. I'm one of the Northwest Regional Coordinators for the Wisconsin ATV Association. I'm also the treasurer for the association and on the board of directors. My home is in Baldwin, but I do have property out on Nelson Lake on County Road T. I'm just here to answer any questions if something comes up that doesn't seem right or that. I'm just here to answer questions and make sure everything's correct. So I'll leave a card with you if you need to get a hold of me on anything. So.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Gerald Wright.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I sent a letter to the county board a week or two ago when I was unable to attend that meeting. I guess I sent it to every member of this committee. I guess I'd like to ask that it be put in the record so I don't have to actually read it. I assume everybody's had a chance to read it. Subsequently, I noticed that I did make one misstatement in that letter. On the third page, I stated that the only way for an impaired ATV or UTV operator to go to jail or prison is in the unfortunate event that they kill someone by impaired operation. And that was a misstatement. They can go to jail for the impaired operation. The only way they can go to prison is if they kill or injure somebody. Everything else in that letter is pretty much accurate. I've contacted some friends in the DNR and they've confirmed my understanding of how this works. I've contacted the Officer of Commissioner of Insurance and they basically confirmed that there's no insurance requirements for ATVs and UTVs. I'm certain that banks would require somebody to have insurance if that vehicle is being used as a lien, as collateral, for a loan, but that's the only insurance requirement that I can find in the law. And if anybody has any questions about my letter, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Also, we have a few letters that people have sent in and they've asked them to be read in. At this time, we'll ask the clerk to read. We're going to try to keep them down to 3 minutes.
Could you do my timing for me? Okay, this letter is from Ralph Hansen, Town of Round Lake. Dear Chairman Kinsley, on April 11, 2024, the Town of Round Lake Board voted against Sawyer County superseding town decision-making authority when considering county roads for ATV, UTV use. Towns, not recreational advocacy groups or counties, have long held statutory decision-making authority over routes within town boundaries. There are legitimate reasons for not changing this authority. Town boards are uniquely aware of traffic patterns and issues on local roads, including highways, and town boards understand best the pulse of their communities, which subsequently informs town policy decisions. For decades, the Round Lake Town Board has worked with Sawyer County ATV-UTV Alliance to facilitate requests to connect trails, utilizing sections of roads but not approving all road access. The town and Alliance have enjoyed a long-standing, respectful relationship based chiefly on the following. The Alliance understands that town boards are responsible for town policy. Town and county government may take recreational group testimony and advisement, but advocacy groups and non-quasi-governmental entities are non-quasi-governmental entities. Intensive lobbying efforts by users and especially by elected town and county officials who simultaneously advocate for ATV-UTV Alliance requests for expansion of road access have blurred the ethical line between government authority and desires of enthusiasts. The Alliance and its members have for decades acknowledged town jurisdiction over all roadways within town boundaries. Understanding that the majority of town residents, many who own ATVs and UTVs, desire no further expansion of road use. This was borne out by a survey completed for the Town of Round Lake Comprehensive Plan update in 2019. Respondents were clear. 2/3 wanted the same or less access, while 1/3 of respondents wanted more access within the town. Lieutenant Mike Feldner, a veteran firefighter and first responder with the Round Lake Fire Department, is one of the most respected members of the public safety community in Sawyer County. Lieutenant Feldner supports short connector routes to trails while opposing the opening of county highways to ATV, UTV traffic and on roadways where the speed limit is above 45 miles per hour. His perspective is unique. He's not a town board member and he doesn't represent recreational advocacy groups. But he's been around long enough to have responded to countless emergency situations and studied their contributing factors. Fellner pays attention to details others miss. For example, he noted that many four-wheelers operate on legal sections of roadways using tires not rated for operation above 45 miles per hour. And he described responding to an emergency driving a water tender while being held up behind a group of 4 ATV operators illegally on Highway B who never moved to allow his water tender to pass. As he recounted that incident, Fellner emphasized that scenario is unacceptable. I urge you to affirm town authority over ATV, UTV use on any roads, including county highways within town boundaries, and to support studies which examine all potential issues that may impact communities and roads within if more off-trail operation is proposed in the future.
Thank you. Do you have any more?
Andy has those?
Dear Highway Commissioner Pino, the Town of Hunter Board is directing this to you in your capacity as the Surrey County Highway Commissioner. We recently received correspondence from the Surrey County Snowmobile and ATV Alliance requesting our input be sent directly to them regarding their proposal to open all county roads to ATV traffic. We feel our response is more appropriately directed to the Commissioner. The Town of Hunter Board is united in our opposition to this request. We do not feel that the request of a special interest group should supersede the importance of safety to all the users of these roads, as well as the potential impact on the natural environment of the Northwoods. Our town and a few others have been mocked for our concerns over safety. We deny the idea that we are micromanaging ATV riders with our ordinances. As stated many times over the last several years, we have opened many stretches of roads as routes, with the emphasis being on safety and a destination. Opening everything so that riders are not confused is not a valid reason for doing so. The original list of proposed opening requests shows several stretches of county roads with ADTs in the thousands, followed by a comment from enforcement and safety officials of no concerns. Certainly there must be some concern in high traffic or low visibility areas when possibly unlicensed and uninsured motorized recreational vehicles are afforded the same rights as cars, trucks, and motorcycles without the same responsibilities. In reference to the statement that most or all of our neighboring counties are completely open is only partially correct. Washburn and Bayfield have realized that there are areas where safety concerns are present and have denied routes on those stretches. In less than 1 year, our county has gone from a newly passed ordinance, which included town's input, to no consideration of town input by suspending the rules to allow changing the rules, and now to the Alliance requesting full control over the riding situation on all county roads. It is time to slow this process down and give it the careful consideration it deserves. Sincerely, the Town of Hunter Board. And I have one more here to the Surrey County Board and Town of Hayward Board members, April 29, 2004, from Mary and Doug Seitz, 10217N Comstock Road, Hayward. Although we are ATV trail riders, we are opposed to the request by the SCSAA that all Surrey County roads not currently designed ATV, UTV routes outside of the LCO reservation receive an official route designation for the following reasons. County Highway B from County Highway NN to Hayward has heavy traffic. According to the Wisconsin DOT Traffic Count Map 2021, the section of Highway B between Sunrise and Round Lake School Road has an average daily traffic rate of 4,200. The AADT of County Highway B east of County K is 5,700. These appear to be the highest county road counts in Surrey County. By comparison, State Highway 63 between Hospital Road and State Highway 77 has an AADT rate of 4,700. State Highway 77 between Airport Road and Duffy Road has a 6,200 average daily traffic count. No county town road should be designated an ATV UTV route until a comprehensive analysis of vehicle usage and safety issues is performed. 3, Highway B is a dangerous road due to this high usage. Anecdotally, when driving it, one sees a steady flow of cars, trucks, and construction vehicles moving both directions. It is impossible to safely ride a pedal bike or walk on the Highway B shoulder as is. Many ATV, UTVers riding groups on an already congested County Highway B. Unsafe passing and other safety issues will occur. There are no Wisconsin insurance requirements for driving ATV, UTVs. Concerns for the safety of child operators in these heavy traffic roads.
Thank you. Any more? Anybody else care to speak to the committee? Yes. Please state your name and address, please.
Jim Strandland, live in town of Round Lake. I'm a town of Round Lake supervisor. I would like you to know that there are two other supervisors from the Round Lake are here today as well. If the vote was to be taken about opening up all our roads, I'm pretty sure that we would all say yes. Dan Palmer, Scott Verbeck, am I correct, guys? All right, just want you to know that we're looking at some ordinance changes in our town to open up some roads and routes in the future. So please consider everything that's gone previous to that. We would like to see the opportunity to open up the roads and the routes so we can create more traffic and help our constituents. Talked about this the last 3 times we've been here, so please consider opening up the roads and give it a trial. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Yes.
My name is Chris Rockdash, and I represent our Hayward Area Chamber of Commerce. We are in support of promoting more access of county roads to ATV and UTV use, as it is felt that opening additional county roads will promote connectivity between our businesses and trails, as this can drive more revenue to area businesses and have an overall positive impact to our area. Needless to say, the success of area businesses is vital to the well-being of our communities. With 54 of Wisconsin's 72 counties already having opened most or all of their county roads with ATV, UTV use, we are supportive of Sawyer County doing the same. With the extra connectivity from the end of one off-road trail to another that more legal routes would provide, along with access to more of our businesses, the experience for riders coming to or living in Sawyer County would no doubt be enhanced. Riders tend to strongly prefer not to trailer from their place of lodging to a trail system if they can avoid it. The more lodging opportunities that our area provides to potential riders that are on a trail or a route, the more of those riders will choose to come to our area and in turn support our businesses that are vital to our thriving communities. As someone that came on snowmobile trips to the North Woods long before moving here myself, I can attest to finding lodging that was on the trail system itself had a major impact on what areas we visited, we came to, and where we specifically stayed. As just one example, I know one of our businesses on the Chippewa Flowage, had a group of snowmobilers this winter that was booked, that obviously with the lack of snow, weren't going to be snowmobiling. They were, and it was obviously suggested to them they could come to ATV instead. And they would have, according to the business, but ultimately chose not to, given the lack of legal access to trails from the sort that they had reservations with. So by embracing this opportunity to open additional routes, we can showcase the natural beauty and unique attractions of our county, attracting visitors from near and far. We feel the same way about those that wish to enjoy the area by bikes, snowmobiles, skis, or any number of other ways that one can enjoy the beautiful area that all of us here get to call home. While the economic benefits of additional route access throughout the county is clear, I also want to be clear, we'll always defer to the highway commissioner and local law enforcement expertise in their opinion of the viability of opening additional routes. So in sum, it's felt the decision to open additional county roads will further foster economic growth, promote our tourism, and enhance recreational opportunities available within the county, both for visitors and those of us as residents alike. Thanks.
Thank you. Anybody else? Hearing none, we'll move on to number 8. Number 8 is consider approval of the minutes of the previous meeting, which was April 10th.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Helwig, second by Mr. Van Etten to approve. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Number 9, Maintenance Department report. Mr. Hagberg has put together a report, 2 pages for us. He seems to think overall things are going well. And make sure you pay attention to the second report where it tells how many phone calls and interruptions he gets, and he still maintains what he has to do over the course of the day with his good crew. Anybody got any questions regarding his reports? Thank you. Number 10, Sawyer County Airport report. Mr. Leslie.
Good evening. Boy, I feel like I'm on the hot seat. Almost 80 people in the room, and most of them aren't here for me. My name's Derek Leslie. I'm the airport manager contracted in Sawyer County for the new board supervisors who may not have met me before. I'd like to point out, I think that's the longest report I've ever seen Mr. Hagberg ever provide. usually I'm the one who gets in trouble for writing lengthy reports. You'll note in my report, I try to keep it to 1 page each month, but it can be difficult at times. Our airport certainly can be a lot of things going on at once. I like to try to keep the county board appraised of what's happening at the airport. I keep in contact with Mr. Alvarado regularly as to the day-to-day activities, but it's hard to capture on 1 page all the things that are happening at the airport. Any questions on my report? Any thoughts?
Can you highlight about the runway, please?
So yesterday in the terminal building, we held a pre-bid meeting with contractors throughout the state. I believe there was 4 contracting firms present. We did a pre-bid meeting. Becker Hoppy, our consultant, conducted the meeting. The state was on Teams. And we've got some interest for sure from contractors for our airport runway rehabilitation project.
Mr. Leslie, we have a couple of new board members. Can you bring them abreast what's going on with it?
So the funding at the airport is very unique in our local government. The airport is primarily funded when it comes to improvement projects through a program called the Airport Improvement Program. About 95% of the funds for the airport are funded by the FAA, the federal government. So when we accept those funds, the Sawyer County has to assign grants and assurances that we maintain the airport to certain standards. One of those standards is making sure that the runway is what a runway needs to be. Our runway was last reconstructed in 2001, and that's as long as runways get. They don't let them get older. So we've been on the project for about 3 or 4 years. We were supposed to have already had it done, but we did have a funding. The state had a shortfall last year. So we will be going out for bid in a couple weeks. And we've got it in the CIP for the local match, which will be 5% of the project, and it's nearly $4 million. And it's going to be total lighting, a rehab for all the lights on the runway, as well as some nav aid improvements, 2-3 different things. When we do these projects, we kind of try to bundle them all together. But we've got it in our CIP for our matching 5% of the $4 million estimate for the project. The airport's going to be shut down for 2 months. If we have a spring like this year, the contracts, the engineer has been really aggressive. I believe they gave them 30 working days to complete the entire project. So if road bans come off early, please, that'd be great. Otherwise, we anticipate the airport's going to be primarily shut down all of May, all of June, based upon a normal year. So that's a big deal for us. We're also concurrently going through the master plan, which has identified some potential issues moving forward into the future, but we have to maintain what's there currently. So it's going to be the same runway, the same length and width, just new pavement. I did all of my spring meetings in the last 2-3 weeks. The state front loads all their, basically what I consider to be continuing education meetings. I've had 4 of them in the last 2 weeks. One thing I would like to note, it's not really in my report a little bit, but, many airports in the state, I would say the majority of airports in the state have been reporting a significant decrease in operations, and that's not the case for our airport. 2 airports nearby us, Price County, which is actually half of Sawyer counties, I think is closer to the Price County Airport. Very similar airport, as well as Medford, directly south, about 45 minutes from the Sawyer County border. Both of those airports have seen such a significant decrease at their airport that they're hardly relevant anymore. That certainly isn't the case with ours. Our airport has seen nothing but an increase in operations through COVID, and it's kind of continued. I mean, first year of COVID, our airport was very busy. That 2020 year was something different, and it's just kind of increased from there. So I think that a lot of what we're seeing now is just a result of the pandemic and people spending more time at the cabins, and I guess they just couldn't get enough of our community and the climate, and they keep flying in and out, and it's great. Otherwise, another big thing that I hope to be able to bring to committee in the next month or 2 is the statewide economic impact study. And that will be very interesting to read because it's going to take into account, you know, what all the airports in the state theoretically are generating an economic impact to the community. And I think ours is going to be very impressive in comparison to the communities around us that have similar airports. Hard to read those numbers. They put numbers associated with each person getting on and off the plane. Most airports have small planes that come in and out that are our size, so you're talking 2 people per plane on average, whereas at our airport, the average person per plane is much higher since we have so much jet traffic in and out. So good things happening at the airport. We're gearing up for another big summer. I'd say we do about 90% of our business. Well, yeah, certainly between Memorial Day and Labor Day, 90%. Really, it's more June, July, August, just those 3 months is the vast majority of the traffic that comes in and out of the airport.
Fundraisers for the summer?
We have 2 big events. I know that I talked with Andy about it too. We have a Young Eagles event happening on June 22nd. That's through the EAA program. So all children between the ages of 7 and 17 can get a free airplane ride. Years past, we've usually had between 20 and 40 kids get either their first airplane ride, or there's some that they've been coming every year for, 10 years and getting a free ride every time. You could do it every year. That Young Eagles program is a nationwide program. It's a big, big deal. And we're really proud to host it. We have it right in the terminal building. If there is a rain day, sometimes they will postpone, but the EAA chapter that puts it on is 631. So EAA 631, you can pull right up on their website, their calendar. They pretty much hit every airport in the region that chapter does. So there'll be one at, Cable, there'll be one in Ashland, there'll be one in Solon Springs, Shell Lake. So if you go under, ours is June 22nd. It'll be the morning of June 22nd. 2 weeks later, we'll have our Civil Air Patrol annual fundraiser is the Sunday after 4th of July, July 7th is our annual. We've always kind of considered it a fly-in. It used to be a fly-in. We kind of stopped having a fly-in. We might bring it back a little bit this year. The emphasis of the fundraiser is to help support the Civil Air Patrol unit. I think right now they have 12 cadets. They've had a very strong program the last 2-3 years. Again, probably since the pandemic, a lot of things have changed, I think, in aviation as well. There's a shortage of pilots. These programs nationwide have been getting a lot of attention. So the CAP pancake breakfast, I think I've been beating down the department heads at Sawyer County too, trying to get some people to come out and help us with some volunteer community effort. Because if it gets busier, we're going to need more hands to handle the traffic, but the funds all go to the Civil Air Patrol. So we're hoping to have some cool airplanes flying in and out this year, but nothing's confirmed yet.
Thank you. Questions, Mr. Leslie? Letter B, airport tax update. Andy?
Yeah, the change in Wisconsin with the elimination of the personal property tax has changed the way that if you have a building on real estate and one person owns the real estate, somebody else owns the building, the building owner is paying a personal property tax on. So in the past, our hangars at the airport are owned privately. We lease them a lot for their hangar to be on. And so they no longer get a personal property tax bill for that. Instead, the real estate owner is going to get that attached to their property. So even though we're tax exempt, we're still going to get a bill for the value of the hangars on the airport. And then we need to turn around and, through our lease agreements, bill each of the hangar owners for their portion of the real estate tax. And so where we're at with that is that the assessor has provided us with first a lump sum amount, which I believe was just over $3 million in hangar value. And then now we've asked, and they've given us a breakdown by hangar of the value of that. So they're still, I'm not sure if they've had their open book at the town of Hayward, but once those values are satisfied and the tax rates are set, then we'll be able to bill the hangar owners essentially their personal property tax now to recover that. And we'll have to pay the amount of that tax instead.
Is that something that is that something new?
That's a change in state law with the elimination of the personal property tax.
So that was not in the budget.
No, but it should be net neutral for us because we'll have to pay it, but then we'll recover it from the hangar owners.
We don't recover all of it, will we?
Should. And not just the airport, but we have a couple cell phone or towers on county property. And that'll happen the same way where the assessments attached to the real estate and we'll have to recover the payment from them. And actually the cell phone towers, we can record a document in the Register of Deeds to separate that out. Because we have legal descriptions for those towers. So we'll be doing that for following years so that they get the bill directly. We're working on the airport, but there's no consistent legal descriptions for all the hangars. Some are on CSMs individually, some are addresses. So we're just starting to talk about how to do like a parcel map that would have consistent legal descriptions for each of the hangars. So then we can record those in the Register of Deeds office so that they get the bill directly.
Thank you. Anybody else have any questions? Hearing none, we'll move on to number 11. Thank you, Mr. Leslie. Highway Commissioners report.
Thank you. Just want to start out, say congratulations to all the members on Public Works Committee. Looking forward to working with you guys. I gave you guys a copy of the new members, a little brief overview of the Highway Department, last county board meeting. Do you guys have any questions on that? Okay. All right. So currently we have started the process reclaiming shoulders on state highways. We've reclaimed 27 north, 63, 77, 40. And then once the state is completed, we'll be doing some of our county system as budget allows. We also started the mastic work we actually finished the mastic work on State Highway 48 now from 40 all the way to Birchwood. It's a real similar process to crack sealing because we have a chip seal that's going to be starting there August 5th, starting on State Highway 40 through Exlin to Copley Road. And then currently we're also doing mastic on bridge approaches throughout the county, and County N and Double D will also be getting mastic this year. We also did start the sign replacement on Highway 48. That'll be just going on throughout the summer. We had a lot of signs replaced on that. County C bridge update. We have completed the turtle turnabouts along with the bird netting on the bridge. There's a May 14th, I believe, is the let date of that bridge. So once I hear what contractors awarded the project, they'll provide an update when construction will start on that project. That'll just be a deck replacement. We have been out at the airport doing some brushing. We currently have cleared the whole southeast end of the airport. And we'll just continue to fill in time as budget allows at the airport. I gotta sit down with Andy and Derek and talk about that yet. We've also been out replacing multiple rail damage on state and county throughout the county. Culvert replacement is going to start soon on County Road D and County Road C to get ready for the paving. I believe the plan's going to be set in August, but we want to get those culverts in and get it compacted down. May 13th out here, State Highway 77, construction is going to start finally. From 63 all the way to County Road K. It's going to be a nice project. It's a 2-inch mill and fill. Traffic's going to remain open, but you will encounter one lane traffic during the day. I think it's 35 working days or something. They need to be finished up by July 3rd. So that'll be a nice project to get done. We are going to be doing some gravel crushing over in the Heightus pit of 27. We're crushing 10,000 yards and we'll be also crushing 6,000 for the town of Meadowbrook. We have completed the culvert inventory in our GIS system now, so we have all our culverts inventoried. We're also currently working on all the 6 to 20, the new program out, measuring up all our 6 to 20 bridge and culverts because there'll be funding coming out to be replacing those here. Has to be our inventory has to be done at the end of this year. Inspections have to be done at the end of next year. So, flagger training we did complete April 10th, and we're currently in the process of MSHA training. We're doing a little different this year. We're doing the online version to be able to keep the crews out on the road working and not shutting down all at once, so we got availability. Our next training is actually tomorrow at the Highway Department. We have CPR and first aid training tomorrow. We have filled 3 of our 4 seasonal help positions. We're still looking for a flagger. Position's gonna be advertised and filled. Salt prices have increased. It was 94.01 last year and they increased up to 97.77 a ton. I just want to make you guys aware of that. All our salt sheds are full right now. So next year we won't have to take an early fill. We'll see the impact, on price wise of that. And then I did also receive notification that we awarded our funding reimbursement through the pilot program on County W North, which it'll have a sunset date of 5 years, so I'll probably be doing that. In my 5-year plan is next year, but we'll see what happens. And then just wanted to update you on the roundabout. So out of the state's 69 applications were sent in, 26 were approved. I was number 28. So I did not receive funding for the roundabout, but I did contact the state. I got the breakdown where we ranked and what we can do to move forward. And depending on what money's left over in the spring, there'll be another funding coming out for it. So, I mean, we will get the roundabout. It just might be delayed a little bit.
Presently, it's scheduled for 29.
It was presently scheduled for 29, but it all depends, on the funding. So it's gonna be that 29, 30, but we will get it. We missed it by 1 project, so. And that completes my report.
For the new board members, we're looking at a roundabout at Highway B and Highway K. For the casino.
Question?
Yes.
John, you had been doing some research on possible different way to do some stuff in the winter time instead of straight salt.
Mhm.
How's that going?
So as of right now, I kind of put it on hold just because we don't have the facility to store the tanks. These tanks are large and I can send you guys pictures. I was at Ashland County 2 weeks ago for commissioners meeting and I took a picture of his whole brine system inside and we don't have the place to store it right now. And our brine maker and everything else. So right now I'm just on hold till I can figure that out.
All right, that's the commissioner's report. We go on to letter B, ATV, UTV annual route renewal, discussion and possible action. We also, Mr. Highway Commissioner shared some other information with us. So this is the routes that we renew every month of May.
I would make a motion to approve all of our current routes that we have open.
I'll second that motion.
Motion by Mr. Elwig, second by Mr. Newman. Go ahead. What time did you want to speak? Kathy asked me if she could speak before we go through all this.
I just, in case you have questions, I just wanted to, I didn't really have anything specific to say. I've sent you all the information that I have.
Is there any, yes.
Can I just note that the first one here that we're approving is the 34 existing routes outside the LCO tribal boundaries.
That probably should be in the minutes. Yes. Is there any other discussion? We have a motion and we have a second. All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Now, we go on to number 1, 2024 existing routes reviewed, did that, okay? So number 2, 2024 LCO temporary permanent route of Double N, Green Lake Road, and the Gurnell Road. So that was, go ahead.
So this was a temporary route from Green Lake to Gurnell Road on County Double N. We do have all the information in here online of LCO requesting that we can open this up to a permanent route. Is there any questions on this information?
We're good? Yes.
make the motion to make County Road double N from Green Lake Road to Gurnell Lake Road a permanent ATV route. I'll second that.
We have a motion by Mr. Newman, second by Mr. Helwig to approve the temporary road of Double N Green to Gurnell Lake Road. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 3. Number 3, 2024 existing ATV routes reviewed within the tribal boundaries.
So these are all the current existing routes within the tribal boundaries. I just want to note on here that the CC is approved as a temp route from the LCO boundary to Devil's Lake Road. That's for when the C Bridge goes into construction.
So it would be now until then?
Well, as soon, last year, remember, I'll bring to you guys when I'll open that up when I find out the construction date. So
Okay.
yeah.
So it has no bearing on it presently then?
Correct.
So we'll use this for information. You want to review that one more time, please, John? This is number 3.
Segment one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, it was approved as a temporary route, so it's not an existing road as of now.
Okay.
It will become an existing route, I mean, a temporary route when the C Bridge goes into construction.
Okay. So going to number 4, 2024 new ATV routes request.
Do you want to approve number? Yeah, you haven't done that, have you?
No, we have not. So we should do that?
Yep.
Okay, thank you for clarification. So yes, number 3 will,
I make a motion, we approve number 3. Second.
motion by Mr. Van Etten, second by Mr. Helwig to approve number 3 existing ATV route review within the LCO tribal. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Now we'll go on to 4. Thank you for your clarification. 2024 new ATV routes request.
So, last month, I presented this sheet that shows all the accident history and ADTs and pavement widths and concerns from the sheriff's department and just comments. And then the other sheet that is on here is the current 19 routes outside the LCO boundary that are requested to be opened by the ATV Alliance. Anybody got any questions on these routes or?
Is there any information you want to share?
Well, currently, I mean, as far as, by looking at all these routes, I mean, as far as what's in our ordinance, you know, a sight distance and everything, vary by speed limits and ADTs. Really, our ADTs are low on a lot of these routes. Sight distances on all the routes are, you know, we meet the sight distance. You know, we look at the ADT of 4,700 on Chippewa Trail down to Highway 27. We're at 4,700, and as you see through here, and then OB was brought up at 5,700 here and 4,700 here, but if you actually look at the route and do the average, I mean, we're at right around, you know, 2,000, which is substantially lower than what is currently open on County Road B. As far as all the other routes on here, I mean, I don't see a real concern. I mean, the data, and maybe Sheriff Motek could speak a little bit on the safety side if you would like.
I'd like to take a couple minutes here and talk about some things, especially with the new board members as well. And it's been brought to many people's attention about the safety concerns. And I put together some information here based on state law and data collected within our agency with our records management system. I'm just going to go through some common questions here of safety and answers that are accordingly. Do ATV UTVs add to safety concerns? They do. All vehicles do. Cars, trucks, bicycles, and other vehicles on the roadway. Can ATV UTVs legally travel after darkness? Yes, they can legally with legal lights like cars and bicycles, with the exception of turn signals. They are required to use hand signals like bicycles. Can ATV UTV operators drive intoxicated on roadways legally? No. The same legal limit of 0.08 with motor vehicles applies and is enforced with ATV UTVs on roadways and trails. There is a difference on affecting their driver's license, but the 0.08 limit is the same. What about the noise of ATV UTVs? There are state law muffler noise restrictions for them. Are ATV UTV operators required to possess a license? ATV UTV operators are required to possess a valid DNR certificate if they are born after January 1st, 1988, even if they have a valid driver's license, which includes out-of-state operators. With respect to our routes on roads, UTV operators have to be 16 years of age. ATV operators have to be 12 years of age, and 12 to 15 years of age have to be accompanied with an adult. This law is similar to the same as youth farm kids on farms operating farm equipment, tractors, and combines, which they can operate on the roadways as long as they have a farm training certificate. Bicycles have no minimum age limit and are not required to have any training. It is very dependent on parental guidance when it comes to our youth. Are ATV UTVs required to have registration? Yes, they are required to be registered with the Wisconsin DNR. What safety equipment is required? Anyone under the age of 18 is required to wear a DOT-approved helmet. UTV operators are required to wear safety belts. Are there reduced speed limits on road routes for ATV UTVs? Some of our routes may have reduced speed limits for ATVs other than motorized vehicles. However, law enforcement suggests against that. ATV UTVs having a lower speed limit impedes traffic and commonly causes impatient motorists to take chances and pass the UTV, causing further crashes. Are ATV UTVs required to maintain liability insurance? No. However, according to the National Insurance Institute, 15.1% of motorists are uninsured with their vehicle. According to a survey being conducted presently by Northern Regional Trail Advisory Committee, which is under the Northwest Regional Planning Commission, indicates that 4% of ATV UTVs are uninsured. The reality is that is due to the cost of ATV UTVs and the financial institutions requiring them to be insured. Most are insured. Who enforces the ATV UTV laws? We do, the Sheriff's Office, the DNR, wardens, as well as other law enforcement agencies. If there are any known violations, please contact our dispatch center. Not only will we investigate it, but it's documented data that adds to our record system to reveal to county board members and other groups interested in that. We put together data from January 1st, 2020 to present date. Almost 3 years we collected of the following data from our in-house records management system. We took all of the calls for law enforcement services for ATV UTVs, which came to 101 in 3.5 years. We also took all the calls for law enforcement services for bicycles in the last 3.5 years, and this is just pertinent to roadways. And with bicycles, it was 188. If you open all the roads, the calls for UTV, ATVs would be reduced about 50% because about 50% of the calls we get for them are illegal operation on the closed roads. Professionally, my job is to present data to you. I want to do it in a fair and impartial manner, as well as personally and professionally. We support opening roads to all users and groups. It's a boost for the economy. It's our job to enforce illegal operation, whether it's by state statute or local ordinance, as long as it fits under our jurisdiction of authority, and we're happy to do so. That is our job. I am also active with the Badger State Sheriff's Association. We have 72 sheriffs. Every sheriff in the state is active with that organization. We have a website, communicate a lot together. This topic is brought up amongst all 72 sheriffs. And we are in a period where there are a lot of roads at the county level and town road level where they're being opened up. I know there was a lot of resistance from some of our sheriffs, but those that did open up, their response back is, to their surprise, there has not been much for concerns, and the calls, complaints, and crashes have been very minimal.
Thank you, Sheriff. Yes.
Sheriff, on the requested County B portion, what's the speed limit out there?
Which portion?
I'm not sure where it's. Three, 4, 5, or 6, yeah, pretty much that whole, it's pretty much that whole area of County B that is being requested to be opened up. Is that, how about this? Do we have routes that are 55 miles an hour?
Yes,
And do you believe that's okay to have UTV, ATVs driving 55 miles an hour?
there isn't much for ATV traffic comparingly anymore. Most people are operating UTVs. UTVs, especially with the road tires and the way they're designed, it's not much of an issue. ATVs, they travel slower and nobody wants to get hurt. They're not going to exceed what they can operate safely by and large. And our crash data indicates the same.
Another thing, is there a light, as far as like headlights, is there a law as far as what they can and cannot put on their ATVs? Like
There-
accessories?
There is when they're operating on the roadways.
How about trails? Nothing? No?
Not that I'm aware of on the trails.
Because I myself have come across where, you go on and, because these people put these things out there and, you can't.
I think the intent is for other use. A lot of it comes down to common courtesy.
True. Thank you.
Questions?
I just wanted to clarify.
Just a minute.
On lights on the model.
Just a minute, please. Anybody from the committee have a question? Any more questions? Go ahead.
I just wanted to clarify, you mentioned the lights that was passed 2 years ago, just like an automobile, in their lights when you meet somebody, they're supposed to be dimmable lights if they've got auxiliary lighting on the machine. So it's just like your bright lights at the time. Same way if you come up behind somebody with your bright lights on, you're supposed to dim them too. That was passed as a state statute.
Thank you.
Can I rebut that?
You have more to share, John?
Oh, I just wanted to comment on a lot of our existing routes that have been approved are 55 miles an hour. So there's more than fair share.
Anybody from the committee have more questions? Mr. Schuman, you got a question?
No.
You got a comment?
I was just going to maybe address procedurally with the list of new routes. If you did have questions or concerns about a specific route, you have an option to maybe pull that route out, or if you get to the point where you're going to make a decision, you could do them all together unless you want to exclude them, specific routes,
Thank you.
just as a suggestion.
Yes, Mr. Newman.
I'm gonna make a motion that we open all these new routes. I second.
Motion by Mr. Newman, second by Mr. Van Etten to approve all the routes and to push it on to the full county board. Okay. Any other discussion? I have a comment that this has been really hard because the public is correct. We probably need to open the roads, and the public is probably correct. There's places that probably shouldn't be open. But when we look at all the numbers that we've been presented, they did a nice job of presenting, and I know the commissioner and the sheriff spent a lot of time on this. And it was set up so we'd renew these routes 2 or 3 times a year. Or they could present new routes 2 or 3 times a year. If this goes through as the motion reads, that's going to eliminate a lot of work for our commissioner, and that's going to help a lot. So hopefully people are safe out there.
Mr. Chair,
Yes,
can I make a statement?
yes.
I don't know. I think I'll probably ruffle some feathers here. But I think a lot of people have blamed their economy, their economic situation on the fact that we don't have all the roads open right now. And I personally don't believe that's a way of thinking, but I wish I would have wrote down what I really wanted to say, because of course I just wrote a blank, but I would like to have a time period, let's say, on that. So, because I think somebody mentioned not temporary, but there was a gentleman that he stated like for a time period, or, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, but right now we have a motion
Oh,
on the floor to approve it and to take it to the full board. That's what we have now. Okay? Okay. Any other discussion? Brian, you got anything? Mr. Bissonnette?
Not really. I was just gonna, if I was to respond, again, if, I think Mark was looking at the new routes on a trial basis, so I would just, basically if there's a problem, this is gonna get renewed, so, that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Mr. Bissonnette. Remind the committee that with the commissioner, any route can be immediately canceled at any time for any reason that they feel it's safe or safety issue. Okay? Any more?
no, I'm just want to make sure my vote is on the record when it comes time.
So we have a motion. We have a second. We're going to vote. All in favor of the motion?
Right.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. It goes to the full board. And that meeting is the 17th, 16th, Thursday night. Thank you. Number 12, courthouse remodel update, dedication ribbon cutting update. Sir Alvarado.
Yeah, that's on the 16th.
Thank you. My hair. 4 o'clock tours. Maybe wants a tour of the building itself, and then 5 o'clock. We'll wait just a moment. I'm going with 80.
With all of us.
Go.
All right. So
Number
the
12. Yeah, go ahead.
Surrey County Courthouse expansion, the dedication ribbon cutting is on Thursday, May 16th, so a week from tomorrow. Tours will start at 4 o'clock. And then the dedication ceremony and ribbon cutting will be at 5. If all of the ATVers come early, we'll have to have more cookies for the reception part. But so we've done our best to try to reach out by email primarily to all of the board members who served in the 20 to 22 range and 22 to 24, who were really the boards that authorized and saw the project through. We'll have a plaque to dedicate. So we have some the judges and the board chairs do a short speech, and then the chambers. Chris, you're on for doing the ribbon cutting next week on Thursday, right? All right. Thank you. So they'll be here to do the ribbon cutting with us for the building. And we do, I joke, but we do have cake, cookies, reception items will be here for that purpose.
Water maybe.
Water, yep. I know we have coffee lemonade, I think is what we have, but we'll make sure there's water.
Provided by the UTV?
No.
Because I wouldn't be there. Andy, did you ever order a seal for above?
I have not. Thanks for pointing that out, Derek. We've been surviving here for months without it, but
When the governor flies in, I'm gonna say something.
yeah, no.
I'll tell him to do one.
Yes, I had not brought that up, but the plans did originally have county seal. Those were a little costly during the project, so we made sure we had the flags and have not revisited the seal on the wall here or in either of the 2 courtrooms, so that won't be available for the ribbon cutting.
Okay. Questions, concerns? Look forward to everybody being there. Thank you. Number 13. Restroom facility in Ojibwa ambulance brought. This was brought up last month. After the meeting, someone came forward and brought that to my attention. I alerted the administrator about it. And he's got some information regarding it.
A little bit of information. So first, I did follow up with the ambulance administrator to see if this was a known concern or an issue, and he hadn't heard of this before. So I encouraged him to reach out to staff to figure out if there's a ongoing concern or if it's isolated. I have not heard back on that. Looking at the plans for the building though, it was built with state approved plans. The reason that, most commercial buildings you'd expect to have 2 bathrooms, but when the plans were approved, they allowed commercial construction on the garage portion or the bays, and then residential construction in the living quarters area, which is why only 1 bathroom, a unisex bathroom is required. That and, staff wise, we have generally 2 people, sometimes 3 working out of that building. So it's not as if there's a lot of people there. But like I said, I asked the ambulance administrator to follow up with staff to figure out if there's, he does have some ideas of why there's a concern, and he's going to follow up on those and get back to me. We also talked about, I talked about it with him and with maintenance, adding a second bathroom if we even were going to consider that. And I'm not suggesting that. I think I'd suggest a porta pot outside first. I'm not even joking, because that site, if you're familiar with the construction, had some issues with, okay, you guys all know, you guys are on your head. Okay, water and septic. And there's been well issues just in the last couple of years where we're down to single digit gallons of water coming out of that well. And it is on a holding tank. So, just because you have 2 bathrooms doesn't mean there should be more water usage essentially, but that would be an issue to consider.
Why can't we just put family bathroom on there?
It is. It's not a concern about sex. It's that when somebody's in the bathroom, somebody
else needs to go to the bathroom?
yes, that's the concern.
That's
Okay, that's-
That was the complaint at least.
They come and go.
So I followed up on it. That's what I have.
Yes, that's right. Part hasn't changed. Okay, stay on task. Anybody have any questions regarding that? Okay, hearing none. We're gonna go number 14. It's a closed session. So it's closed session, discussion, possible action, letter A. Pursuant to Wisconsin statutes 19.851E, in order to close session for the purpose of deliberating and negotiating the purchase of public property and investing public funds or conducting other specific public business. Mr. Mirotak, thank you very kindly. Mr. Commissioner, thank you very kindly.
Take care, guys.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah. Whenever
The door.
complete or bargaining reasons for required closed session. Thank you. Yep. Need a motion.
I make a motion that we go into closed session.
I'll second it.
Motion by Mr. Van Etten, second by Mr. Newman to go into closed session. Need a roll call vote.
Mr. Kinsley.
Yes.
Mr. Newman. Mr. Helwig. Mr. Van Etten.
Yes.
Mr. Bissonnette.
Yes,
Mr. Bissonnette, you have to tell us if you're in the room by yourself, please.
yes, I am in the room by myself.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay,
What about the other? Is there?
she'll shut him down. Yeah, that one's shut. It's shut.
Put that pause stop.